I think ideas really want to be born and they really want to be alive. And they come to a person, and if that person doesn't act on it and they don't give it everything they need to make this idea something, I think the idea goes somewhere else because it just wants to be born. It wants to be part of this moment and the universe, and it just wants to be alive.
Welcome to the Know Your Ship podcast, presented by eHub. I'm your host, Frank Dolce.
What's your maiden
Like the
name?
Lions. Okay, Linford is my mom's name that I grew up with. My parents were divorced, so I grew up with my mom's maiden name, Linford, and Hanson is my dad's name, but no one knew me as that because I didn't use his name.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you were a single child until 12?
Why do you know this? How do you know this?
Because it's my responsibility to do research on my cat.
How do you know this? Yes, I was a single child till I was 12.
Yep, I know. And then did you accumulate some siblings after 12?
I along the way, it's the mixed thing. So I technically wasn't a single child. My dad had other children, but I didn't see them very often. They didn't live in my household. And so I was raised by a single mom. She didn't have any other kids till I was 12. So it was just really me and my mom. A couple of stepdads in and out that didn't work out. So it was just me and her against kind of everything.
How do you think that experience helped you evolve, or how did that affect you as a kid and now looking back and as an adult?
In all the ways. My mom was a teacher. So I was her only child. She was a teacher. Oh man, she ran a preschool out of our house, and the joke is she would take a corner and teach the kids, and I would take a corner and teach the kids. She had me doing the alphabet backwards, all the presidents, the United States, the capitals, everything by the time I was probably 4, maybe. I mean, I knew all of the things. I was her whole world. She was a great teacher. So education was just drilled into me. Like, this is the most important thing, is to get an education. And that really modeled and built my entire life for so many years. So I think it was everything. She was a single mom, and she wanted me to not ever have to worry about taking care of myself. Whatever I did, she wanted me to have some kind of career that I could take care of myself.
Yeah.
So I think it built everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We're already in the interview. Like, how did he just snuck that in? he just snuck it in. We're already there.
We're in deep.
Deep in it. Oprah Winfrey.
Whoa.
Frank Winfrey.
Yes, thank you. What? Okay, do you remember any of that stuff today? Like, can you do the alphabet backwards?
CYX, WV, UTSN, RQP, ONM, LKJ, IHG, FED, CBA. This is my fun thing. Yeah.
That may have been the most impressive thing that we've ever seen on the podcast. And let me just tell you, we had the guy on the podcast, Joe Toft, who spent 7 years taking down Pablo Escobar.
Look, if he couldn't do the alphabet backwards, who cares?
I don't think he could.
Like, who cares about that?
Listen,
I'm
not sure he could do the alphabet forwards, but he did take down Pablo Escobar, and that's something.
That's something.
And that's something.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know it's America's 250 is coming up next year? America's 250th anniversary. Isn't that exciting?
Yes.
Okay, you talked about this education, and did you say something about, no, you knew all the presidents, you learned all the presidents? Okay, do you have a favorite? And I know you're well educated, so do you have a favorite moment in U.S. history with the 250th coming up, or a favorite president?
Favorite moment in history is the moment that women could get a loan without a man.
Get a loan?
Yeah. And that only happened.
Okay, she said get a loan, not get along.
LOAN, alone.
Gotcha. Okay.
Someone fact checked me on the year, but it has been, I don't know. Can someone test me? Pull it up. It's been a very, very short amount of time ago that women were allowed to go in and get a financial loan without their husband signing off, or a man signing off.
Like a sponsor. You'd have to have a sponsor. But it would have to be a man. Yes.
Yeah. Let's check the date. It's a shocking number. I have one in my head, but I don't want to spit it out in case it's wrong. We'll let her tell us the date.
Wow.
1988.
Less than 50
I was born in 86.
First.
So that's 2 years after I was born that a woman could go in and get a business loan without a guy signing off on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's crazy. And it's even more crazy that in some places in the world that is still the case, probably still the case. And more.
Even worse than that.
Even worse.
Did you see that movie of the group of women who were in the Middle East and they were trying to build the robots? That was such a great movie. But I took my girls to that and I was so emotional watching that with them, saying, do you know how rare it is that you were born in the time you were born, in the country you were born in the personage you were as a woman in this country, that you can do literally anything you want to do? I think we take that for granted every single day. There are women in the world, millions of women in the world, who are under a completely different regime. It's suffrage still. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rarity of that is so beautiful.
Yeah. I love that. I'm glad that you mentioned that and you talk to your kids about that.
Oh, we talk about it at length. It's a daily conversation with my kids, because anytime I don't want to do my homework. I'm like, there's a lot of people who would be begging and praying just for the opportunity to have a book to read, just to learn.
I know. I love those opportunities.
Oh, yeah. I take advantage of those to the max. Just really drill in my guilt.
It's, yes. Yes.
You will appreciate
Why is that
this.
so satisfying?
I don't know.
And then I walk away and I'm like,
nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah.
Absolutely. I guess since we've already started the podcast, we should probably introduce you.
Okay, great.
Bree. Do you like to go by Bree, but not Breelyn?
Breelyn is great. Yeah, Breelyn is great. I think it's harder for people to remember and say correctly, and they get nervous they're going to say it wrong. So Bree's just it's easier and more confident for the person. But either one is great.
Have you ever run into another Breelyn?
Yes, but I think she was 4 or 5. She was very little.
Oh,
so it's not a very common name.
Yeah. So Breelyn Vanleeuwen grew up in the state. When you have to fill out those forms and you have to fill out each dot, like that's a long. Did you have to do that with your passport? Like Breelyn,
so long.
Vanleeuwen, and you're like, I need extra squares. I need extra boxes. I have run out of
additional paper. Yeah.
Do you have a middle name also? I mean,
Jan. Luckily, it's short. Jan.
Okay.
Jan. It's short.
Yeah. Were your parents or was your mom like a Brady Bunch fan? And you became Jan from the Brady Bunch?
My grandma's name is Janet, and so I was named after my grandma.
Gotcha. Nice. Well, you are the founder and creator of Daily Shade.
I am.
Which is a all-natural, non-harmful daily sunscreen for kids. That's where you are today.
Beautiful.
Correct?
That's right.
And you had a career prior to this, well, in medicine as a PA, but I think what I understand is that you spent time studying causes of skin cancer. It's part of your career. Is that accurate?
No, it's totally accurate. Yeah. So I studied medicine. I practiced medicine for 15 years. One of the specialties I worked in as a PA was in facial reconstructive plastic surgery. And Utah is the #1 state in the entire country for melanoma, which is the most dangerous form of skin cancer. We are 3 times the national average.
Utah?
Yeah, Utah. You would think it would be Arizona or Florida or Hawaii or California, something like that. It's here in our home state right here. 3 times the national average. And it's because of the elevation, the altitude, the year-round sports, and a ton of very fair-skinned people. And then a lot of tanning happens here. People love the aesthetic of being tan, and it's... Frank's
okay, be honest. Does it happen mostly in Utah County?
Just like, actually, it really focuses right outside the Vasas, right next to those tanning beds. That's where the peaks happen, right by those beaches, tanning beds. Actually, a high amount happening right there.
Now that you mentioned that, I don't think I've ever seen a Vasa without a tanning salon.
My husband won't even take me to Vasa, because if I'm there and someone is walking in, I will physically go over and be like, I don't think you understand what you're doing. I don't think you should go in and do this. This is a bad decision. My husband's like, you can't say this to strangers. You can't say this to people. I'm like, they should know. They need to know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. They need to know.
Yeah,
and
they need to know.
I think you have a responsibility.
I do.
To tell people.
And I do. I don't have a very quiet way about me, so I do that. Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I'm getting us off track. Okay, let's go back to your experience studying causes of cancer, and it happens to be here in Utah.
Right here in Utah. And one of the highest cancer in women aged 24 or 26 to 30 is melanoma. It's the most common cancer in women aged 26 to 30. So these beautiful young girls would come into the office with very disfiguring scars on their face because they had a melanoma removed. And now they're coming in to see a reconstructive facial plastic surgeon to try to minimize the appearance of those scars. Let's say they had something come off their nose. It's not just a very superficial removal of the tissue. They are going so deep. It's like an iceberg. There's just the tip of it that you're seeing, but underneath it is where all of the growth is happening and spread. And so what's happening in some cases, we had one young girl who had her entire nose except one little piece of the cartilage was remaining because of melanoma. And it was in that moment. I mean, I knew sunscreen was important. I mean, of course, I would put it on myself every day, and I knew it was. But something clicked for me then where I realized, man, if these girls already have this in their 20s, the damage was done long before that, right? So when I was a professor and I had to do research and I had to pick a topic for my RTP, it's part of the tenure process. I chose to study skin cancer prevention and awareness, trying to figure out how can we best prevent this most common cancer in America that is the most preventable cancer in America from being that? Because it just blew my mind that the most common cancer in America, skin cancer, was the most preventable cancer. And yet here we still were. I thought, man, if there were something that we could do for breast cancer, if someone said, here's a bra that you can put on, and if you wear this bra, there's a 90% chance you won't get breast cancer. Every woman would be wearing that bra, right? We have that. It's called sun protection. It's being smart about the sun. It's sunscreen. We already know what it is, and yet no one's doing it. We could prevent 90% of cases of skin cancer if we were just smart about the way that we handled the sun. And yet we're not doing it because of cultural norms, because we love to lay out, because we love to be tan, because it feels great to have those endorphins hit when you get a sunburn. It's all the things, or a suntan. I mean, it's a real thing. There's endorphins that are released when you get a suntan. It's a real thing.
It's kind of a thing. The first, like, I don't know, my experience growing up is like you went through the first outdoor kind of days in the summer. You got the first
face burn.
Yes. And then you suffer through that, and then you're good for the rest of the year. It was just kind of a process that you went through. It seemed like that was the thing.
Up to 80% of sun damage in a person's whole life. So there's some studies that will say less, but up to 80%, or just majority of sun damage in a person's whole life happens before the age of 18. It's this moment. No one's thinking about putting sunscreen on their kid every day. Unless you're out at the beach, the pool, maybe a soccer game. My kids in soccer, I very rarely see parents put on sunscreen even for soccer, because in their head they're like, oh, they're only out there for an hour. We don't need to put on sunscreen.
Yeah.
The truth is, it takes decades for melanoma to develop, for skin cancers to develop. So while you think it's just this innocent base tan or base burn, it's really damaging your skin forever. And once the damage is done, that's it. You can't go back. You can't reverse it. There's nothing you can do. Literally, there's nothing you can do.
I have a problem.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I have an issue.
You like to be tan.
Well, yeah, it's just a natural thing.
You know, my dad always says tan fat is better than white fat. It's the most horrible thing to say, but he always says that.
But it's true. I mean, you kind of have to agree with that, right?
I mean, culturally, yeah. I mean, in this culture, it is... I think things are shifting and changing, but especially when I was growing up in the 90s, as a 14-year-old girl, I wanted the Playboy bunny that I didn't even know what it meant, that sticker on my stomach from the tanning bed. Do you remember that? Yeah. I mean, it's so stupid. Or the heart or the rainbow or whatever. And it was like this cool moment to be like, look at this, in junior high, to show them like, I went tanning. Yeah. It's a cultural weird thing.
And
in other countries, like in some Asian cultures, are you guys seeing those where they have the massive banana leaves over their face?
Yes.
They're taking it that serious because the whiter you are, the better. So it's a cultural thing. But in this country, I hope it's sort of starting to phase out and people are appreciating natural beauty. But yeah, it was part of my youth and yours. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we from the very earliest days, I was out on the beach all day long, as much as we could be. Yeah. And
which is great. I love sunshine. Love good beach day.
We didn't do sunscreen.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a thing, like if you did wear sunscreen, then you were like, that guy has to use sunscreen. Exactly. Yeah, I was getting sand kicked in my face if I put sunscreen on.
Yeah.
All this stuff. Okay, I have two things about this. One is, like, I have this I have this idea about how I'm going to age. Well, I'm already aged, but
you look great for your age. How old are you?
Continue. You know what? It's so funny. This comes up on this podcast with some regularity.
It's the lighting, maybe. It's like very appealing lighting. I don't know. How old are you?
I'm not going to make you guess. That's terrible to make you guess. I'm 56.
You look great. So you are sort of the you are the person that disproves what I'm saying, because most people, even if they, skin cancer isn't a concern for them, aging, the sun ages you faster than anything else, right? Hyperpigmentation, fine lines, wrinkles.
Yeah.
Imagine how good you'd look if you didn't lay out.
Oh,
imagine that. Look how good you look now with laying out. Can you imagine?
I could look even
You'd be
better.
Like a 20-year-old.
Is that what you're saying? I could look even better than
imagine
I do?
That.
I can't. Can you?
I can't. Hard to imagine.
I can't.
But no, you kind of go against the grain of what I'm saying. But for most people, the sun is an age amplifier. It just ages you quicker than any other environmental factor you could come across.
I'm going to tell you a little secret.
Okay. Botox. You probably get a lot of Botox. Is that your secret?
Okay. No. No. Okay, so I love everything associated with the ocean, including the sun. Like my favorite scent is suntan oil. Those are all my candles, and apparently now I can't buy candles. Like that's a thing.
Hormone disruptors left and right.
It's like, and you know what I just found out about? I don't know why I didn't know about this, but seed oils. I'm now reading this book, don't have any seed oils. And that's everywhere. I mean, I kind of knew the sugar thing. I just disregarded it because I have such a terrible or amazing sweet tooth, as I tell people. So, but it's all these things. Well, the thing with sunscreen is it's for that period of time, the summer season, sunscreen is just a part of that. It's the sand, it's your beach towel, it's the water, it's the sunscreen, and I developed this great affinity for the scent of a sunscreen that I know that you
won't find that at night.
But you had a difficult experience with this particular sunscreen, but that sunscreen in that brown bottle, the minute I put it on and so I use sunscreen for the scent of it, not for the protective qualities.
At night after the sun goes down for date night, you're tapping it.
I sometimes use sunscreen. I don't do it now. We're in the fall, so it's like it feels inappropriate. But during the summer, I'll use that sunscreen for my lotion.
Oh,
yeah.
So
I put it on not for the protective quality, but for the
scent, the aroma
of it, because it's so nostalgic. It brings back this flood of memories. Okay, here's the other thing that I have is I kind of have this fascination with I'm like a patriot, like Western, Old West, Americana.
Like got the Marlboro Man with the tan leather skin.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
So how
exactly what we're wanting to avoid.
Am I supposed to get to the point where I look like a fine piece of leather if I'm wearing sunscreen all the time? How do you manage that?
I would say if those are your goals, sunscreen is probably not for you. If your goal is to really age like a fine leather face, Robert Redford just passed away. I saw him one time up at Sundance. He was not a sunscreen user, can tell you that. His skin was really, really leathery and dark, and he's one of these people. If these are your goals, maybe he used sunscreen. Maybe we should cut that out. I don't know if Robert Redford used sunscreen, but
it didn't look like it.
It didn't look like it. Yeah. If those are your goals, I would definitely say sunscreen's not for you.
What did he look like up close?
A lot of freckles. Very leathery skin. And he was tiny. He was short.
Yeah. That's what I understand. He's tiny.
Yeah, he's tiny. Yeah, he was he was smaller than me. He's tiny.
Okay. Here's the other follow-up question I have about your research and the thought about using sunscreen on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that affect your body's ability to develop its own sun protection?
This is an interesting, deep conversation. I don't know how far you want to go into it. if you were to go get a base tan, let's say that you're going on vacation and you think, okay, I'm going to go in the tanning bed so I can give myself a base tan for a vacation.
Which I will never do.
No,
and I've never
we
done.
would not.
No way.
We would not. If someone were to go do that, what you're protecting your skin with is about an SPF of 4. So that base tan gives you an SPF of 4. That's how much protection it's providing to your skin. Versus, sunscreen SPF of 30 and above is recommended. So the problem is people get this base tan and they think, oh, I'm good to go. They go out and they just, fry to a crisp or get a deeper burn. Anytime you're getting a suntan, it's your body's way of saying, protect me. I need protection because I'm getting damaged. So it sends out these little helpers to try to block more rays from coming in, which is what makes you tanner. And it's the body's way of saying, I'm getting too tan. Help me. This is my warning signal that I'm damaging myself. That's what a tan is. So all a tan is just evidence of damage to your skin. I know. It's terrible.
You certainly put a damper on that.
I know. When you look at it that way, the tan becomes much less pretty. It's just damaged skin. That's all a tan is.
It's such a peeling, damaged skin. I mean, there's a point. There's like a level of, I guess, appeal. You kind of like that sun glow. Isn't that something?
Yeah, I think that people do like that. And that's one of the things that we fight on a regular basis. I think people do like that.
Yeah, I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll have to consider that. Okay, so at that point, you're deep in your career and you're thinking about, well, we can prevent all of these issues with people in skin cancer. So there's a way to prevent it. At that point, were you thinking, I should start a sunscreen line? Or are you thinking like, I'm going to help educate people on utilizing sunscreen more appropriately?
Yeah, the first time it actually crossed my mind to start a sunscreen company was in 2020. I went from working full-time, practicing medicine, and then we moved to Alabama with my husband's job. So I was flying back and forth and I was seeing patients every week or 2 weeks. And then I would fly back to Alabama for a week or two. And then I'd fly home to Utah to see patients because my medical license was in Utah. So I wanted to keep seeing my patients. So I was flying back and forth. And then 2020 hit and all of a sudden travel wasn't a thing. Air travel wasn't something we could go do. So we were in Alabama. I was stuck there. We had a pool. Stuck is a hard word. I loved Alabama, but I was there and I had a pool. And it was the first time in my whole life that I was a stay-at-home mom completely, that I didn't have any sort of outside anything. And my mind, I just have a busy mind and that loves to think and be active and put it to something. And my daughter had this horrible reaction to a chemical sunscreen at her 1-year birthday. And so from that point on, I was using sunscreen after sunscreen, and either she would still have a reaction because a lot of sunscreens on the market are hybrid, meaning they're not mineral sunscreens. They're actually a little bit of mineral and a little bit of UV chemical filter mixed together. So she'd react just as she would to a chemical sunscreen. And if she didn't, I would use these really thick, white, pasty, greasy, natural zinc sunscreens. And the more I bought, I just couldn't. And I kept telling my husband, I spent probably, I don't even know, I'd have to go back, look at my receipts, thousands of dollars on these sunscreens. And it got to the point where he's like, you've got to quit. Like, there's not one. Just pick your favorite or pick the best of what's available and go with that. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. There's not one. That's a gap. I can totally fix that. That was sort of the first inkling of, I can fix this.
Gotcha.
So that's when it really first occurred. And then it took 4 years for us to develop the product because it was a really challenging thing to do.
Okay, so your daughter hadn't had a reaction prior to this?
She was 1 year old and we were using a sunscreen that was okay. It was still whitening on her and thick. It was, I can't remember the name of it, but one that you would be familiar with. And it was okay on her, but we ran out. So my husband just grabbed a random one at the gas station or the Publix or wherever we were in Seaside, Florida. And I didn't even see what he grabbed because we were out of it. I wanted to do a cake smash scene on the beach and then the sun was beating down. It was in June. And I'm like, just go grab some more sunscreen. It didn't even look to see what he got. Covered her in it. And we have it on video of her just getting red and flustered and irritated and itchy eyes. And then she started to get welts and blisters all over. I mean, within 30 minutes, it just, you can watch the development while she's smashing her cake. It just gets worse and worse and worse. And it took us a minute to figure out what it was. But yeah, it turns out it was the chemical sunscreens.
Gotcha. Are chemical sunscreens effective?
Look, I think this is a big topic and a big conversation. And because I'm regulated by the FDA, I have to be very careful with my verbiage and how I say things. And I would never want to discourage someone from using sunscreen in general. I think sunscreen saves lives. And I think that protection against the sun, we know that the sun causes skin cancer. We know 90% of cases of melanoma are caused by UV radiation. So for me to say that they're not effective would not be accurate. I do think that as a country, we can be more responsible for the ingredients that we're putting on our skin. It's the largest organ of our body. It absorbs everything that we put on it. And our company doesn't use 1,700 ingredients that are banned in the EU. I think there's 7 banned here, regulatory-wise. The EU has banned 1,700. I hold our company to that standard. So we don't use 1,700 of those ingredients plus. But I think this country, are they effective? Yes. Could the ingredients be safer? Could they be better for our kids? Absolutely, right? Even the FDA, they have 2 mineral filters that they generally considered safe, which are titanium and zinc. Those are the 2 that the FDA says these are considered safe. Then all the UV chemical filters are in a different category, and they're actually going under investigation and studies constantly because there is evidence of absorption into the bloodstream and into the breast milk and endocrine disruption. To what degree? That's still being studied, right? So there's some question marks around those filters. And there's question marks around the boosters that aren't regulated by the FDA that companies just load their sunscreen product with. So they'll say, oh, this is a mineral sunscreen. It'll have 2% zinc or 10% zinc, and then they'll flood the rest of it with boosters like butyl-octyl salicylate that's unregulated. They can put as much in there as they want.
And you don't have to list
You have to list it in the inactive, but not the percentage because it's not inactive. Right. So it's not appropriate to say they're not effective against sun, but do I think there's a better way to do it? Do I think that our country and our kids deserve a higher level of regulation? Absolutely. I mean, it's the largest organ of your whole body. Everything we put on it, it absorbs within seconds. And we're just slathering who knows what on our skin, right? Yeah. And it's doing a lot of damage that we're not even probably aware of. So
it's so interesting. This is probably part of a much larger discussion, but like I was just saying, okay, now I'm finding out about how seed oils are so damaging and causing all of this
fragrance,
inflammation and fragrance and candles and
our country
sunscreen,
the sickest it's ever been,
and food and like, wait a second, we're the most highly developed. How did this happen? It feels like in ways we've been like
we go backwards.
It's been misrepresented. All of the things. How about the food pyramid? I mean, I grew up on the food pyramid, and that thing has been completely tossed out the window.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so
and it's the same. It's the same thing with any kind of cosmetic product that we're putting on. I mean, I don't think we're even aware of half of the things that we put on because it's marketed so well and so beautifully, and it's so mainstream that you don't think twice about the shampoo or conditioner or deodorant you're putting on until you start really looking at the ingredients, and you're like, oh, where does that come from? What? It's just a very eye-opening kind of moment. And I would think for anyone who's overwhelmed by this, I would say start with things that you're ingesting and things that go directly onto your skin. Those are the 2 things I would start with.
Yeah.
And if you can start to slowly make better switches in those categories, everything else will tend to follow. I mean, there's people that get as serious as the fabrics that go on their body and the blankets that they're choosing. I think there's a lot of levels that you could get to. But the things you're ingesting and the things that you're putting directly on your skin that are getting absorbed, those are the 2 biggest factors, I think, in this conversation.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about the building the business. I want to get to that point, but I don't want to leave this your transition from PA career in the medical field to what you're doing today. So
big jump.
Yeah, an enormous jump. And it sounds like that was a fulfilling career.
I loved it.
Yeah. And I think one of the stories was kind of interesting is we were talking about your childhood earlier, and that you kind of always had this, you lean toward the medical field from a very early age. Oh
my gosh, always. Yeah. I was downstairs in my base. I mean, I was an only kid. I didn't have a bunch of siblings to play with. I didn't have a bunch of friends in my neighborhood. So I was like the OG Doc McStuffins. I was downstairs in my basement. I have very few childhood memories, but that's just vivid. All my stuffed animals lined up in my file folders. Like, yeah, I was 30 years old at, 5. I was just down there diagnosing my patients. I was thrilled that they were returning for a follow-up. It's like the silliest thing, but it's what I've always loved. And I think my grandparents like encouraged it so much. And it was, if I wasn't, they were so proud of me and so proud of my educational accomplishments that it became my identity in such a huge way,
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like I was the kid that, sophomore year, summer break, my mom taught school, so she had summers off. So I made her, well, she was volunteered because she's the best mom in the world, but she drove me up to the University of Utah chemistry lab because I did chemistry classes all summer. That's what I did in my summer break for fun.
You did that for
I don't know for fun, but I think my identity was so tied to academic accomplishment that it became who I was.
And the reward like your grandparents being
proud. They were proud.
Like
right? That became kind of such a huge part of me.
That's amazing.
And, I was a junior and senior. I had finished all of my high school credits. So I was then getting my associate's degree while I was a junior and senior in high school. So I was at BYU campus and Utah Valley University's campus, getting all of my college credits done while I was in high school. I mean, it just became like such a huge part of who I was. I didn't do sports or cheer. I did a little bit of that early on, but yeah, I went full board education in school, all through school or high school. So
okay,
just became who I was.
Big, terrible question. Do you feel like you missed out on anything because you were so focused on your education?
Oh, I remember I had a group of friends that got really into partying, and I haven't had alcohol in my entire life. I've never done drugs, never done alcohol, not one sip ever in my whole life. And it just, from a very early age, I just decided it's not what I'm going to do, and that was it. I'm a very determined kind of human. That was just it. And I spent a lot of Friday nights at Barnes & Noble and eating Chinese food like egg foo young with my mom. There were a lot of those weekends where I was just like hanging out with my mom on a Friday night, and I don't regret them at all. Yeah. I think the friends that I have are the people that, as you get older, your circle gets tighter, but I don't feel like I missed out on anything.
Well, I would have to, I align with that in lots of ways. And I think you end up with a lot of empty nights on the other side.
And regret, I think, in the morning too. When I was at college, I'd see my friends the next day and I'm like, oh,
wow,
that doesn't look good.
That looks rough.
That looks bad on you. Yeah, I didn't have any of that.
That doesn't look good on anybody.
It doesn't look good on anybody. Yeah.
Can you name? I don't know. There's one
Brad
person.
Pitt, maybe. It looks good on Brad Pitt. I just watched F1 last night. I'm like, maybe he could pull that off. Looks like he's probably pulled that off a few times.
Brad Pitt doesn't wear sunscreen. I'm going to give you a look.
Have you seen his face? He does.
He doesn't wear sunscreen.
He does.
There's no way.
100%.
No.
Test Google it. Does Brad Pitt wear sunscreen?
Question of the day. Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise?
Brad Pitt. Professionally. Personally, seems like a little bit of a situation, but professionally, great. F1. Did you see the movie?
Twice.
Oh, so good.
But I thought Brad Pitt was good, but I align more with the team manager, his love interest.
Oh, that's who you identify with.
I thought she was fascinating. Yeah, I thought she was great. Fascinating is probably not the word. I thought she was great.
First female tech.
Yeah.
Whatever her title is.
Yeah, but whatever. I thought she just played that role.
Yeah, she did.
Really well.
Okay, Tristan, Legends of the Falls, Brad Pitt. Maybe that's someone you identify with a little bit more.
He probably doesn't wear sunscreen.
He did not. Tristan, for sure, did not wear sunscreen. He was out there fly fishing for hours. No sunscreen. It's not happening.
Wait, but who was the love interest in that? It was, do you remember her?
Yeah, long brown hair.
Yes.
I can't think of her name. So pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. She definitely wore sunscreen. Her skin was just that curly, beautiful. Oh, she had great skin.
It's not Juliet.
Didn't she play? She played Sabrina, right? Same chick?
I don't know. I don't even know what Sabrina. Oh, she did play Sabrina with
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We digress.
Interesting tangent. Where were we? We were in your experience with your we got down why you didn't party. That's a good.
Yeah.
So you were talking about wrong. No regrets.
No regrets. No.
Did you have
I wish I would have played a sport. That is my one regret. And I tell my girls that. I think sports for girls are so important and so powerful. And that was not encouraged for me. And that is something that I'm encouraging in my girls. A sport would have been, that was the one regret. I think it builds you have a team and you have that kind of built-in moment. And there's a lot of confidence around sports.
And it's very challenging. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the lessons that you learn in the environment that you don't learn anywhere else.
So sport for me, I think that'd be my one thing that I would have added in. I would have loved to have done a sport. Maybe tennis. I probably would have played tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite patient when you were growing up, by the way, in your basement?
A stuffed animal? You're talking about stuffed animal?
You didn't have a real patient.
You know the puppy surprise, and you'd get this puppy and you'd buy it, and you didn't know how many babies were inside of this puppy. That was one of the best moments of my entire life. I owned probably 8 of these because I was just so thrilled to see how many babies this puppy was going to deliver. And what color, how much hair did they have? And like the procedure of doing the C-section and laying the towel down, and is a whole thing for me.
Is that where you developed, do you think, your bedside manner?
Definitely.
Is in the basement.
Surprise.
You know what they say? Champions are born in the backyard. So the kids who are willing to do all the work on their own, outside of practice and when they're supposed to.
Like, Mom, I can't eat. This puppy, she's crowning. I can't come up. I got one crowning down here. I can't. Sorry. So much dedication was learned down there, probably.
Well, doctors are born in the basement. Champions are born in the backyard. It all
makes sense.
It all works together. Okay, so did you? You're a PA. You've had this experience now with your daughter and a terrible reaction to sunscreen, and just by whatever, the universe coming together. You have all of this knowledge and training and everything else in preventative sunscreen, preventative medicine, I should say. At that point, did it just click and you said, I have to do this. I've done all the research. I have to start making this product because there's a gap in the market and I have all the experience.
Yeah, it became a pretty immediate passion. You know what I think? This is an interesting theory that I have, and I talk to my husband about this all the time. I think ideas really want to be born, and they really want to be alive. And they come to a person, and if that person doesn't act on it, and they don't give it everything they need to make this idea something, I think the idea goes somewhere else because it just wants to be born. It wants to be part of this moment and the universe, and it just wants to be alive. And I've always kind of thought that, and I thought, this is the idea that this isn't going to go to somebody else. This is mine. And I'm going to give it 100%, and I'm going to give it everything, and I want it to live as best it can. So it became a pretty immediate thing for me, but the development of this product took so long. Trying to do this the right way and not white label it, not cut corners, not put butyl salicylate in my product or other boosters. I mean, the SPFs that we were hitting, I don't know if you're following the sunscreen debacle in Australia, how the TGA is the FDA in Australia.
Okay.
They have pulled 15 sunscreens off the shelf because this third party has tested them, this third party lab, and some of the sunscreens are hitting an SPF of 4 and that are claiming an SPF of 50. They're hitting a 4 and they're all under the SPF that they're claiming. And what they're finding is a lot of them had the same base formula and white labeling and the labs and everything. And so they're all failing these testing. Now, is it an issue with the testing lab? Is it an issue with the formulation? Who knows? All of this is to be determined. But I think what it goes to show is it's a very complicated job to produce a sunscreen that tests well, and it's very complicated to strategically test that to an appropriate level. A lot of sunscreen houses try to cut corners. They use the same model that passed on another sunscreen. So they bring in that same model because they know this sunscreen hit the SPF on this person, so this model is going to hit it on this sunscreen, which isn't the right way to do it. And so I think there's a bigger conversation about the efficacy of SPF testing, and that's a totally different conversation. But I knew, all that aside, I was going to put this on my kids every single day. So it needed to be clean enough that I felt great about putting on my kids every day. And I knew the efficacy needed to be there, not just because I needed to hit a number for whoever's backing me, which I have nobody, I'm self-funded, but because I'm putting it on my kids every day, and I really created it for my kids and for my family, not for anybody else. I think it's beautiful that I see it on other kids, and that's such a goal, and that's what it is. But the initial dream was, can I create a product that I feel good enough to put on my skin and on my kids' skin every single day and know that the efficacy is there? Can I do that? And it took us a long time. It took us 4 years. And we had so many people tell us, like, look, it's not hitting. The way that you have it formulated now is not hitting the SPF. But if you just put in this butyl salicylate, just put this in, it'll hit. It's no problem. Everyone does it. Just put it in.
Was it like the devil on your shoulder?
It kind of became,
just put this in.
You know what it kind of became like is that I was the fool. Like, everyone else is doing this. all you got to do is just slip this in and you would sell it. You go into business and it would be fine.
Everyone's doing it. It'll make you look smarter.
It kind of goes back to this idea of like the partying and the drinking and the drugs. And I was like, no, I knew like this is not what I wanted to do. And if I can't do it without, I'm not doing it. Everything else, it's already been done poorly. I'm not going to do it again poorly. Mm-hmm. So if that's what it is and it can't hit, then it can't hit. But if I'm not going to do it that way. So if it wasn't going to be the way that I needed it to be, it wasn't going to be at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to one point before we keep moving forward because this is really interesting. But I told you earlier, we like to have these moments of foundational business principles and thought. And you just mentioned something. I'm going to let you repeat that about your thought about ideas. I think a lot of people experience that and don't know how to react to it. So tell us about that, how that developed in you and then how you reacted to it and how maybe that confirmed your belief in how to work with an idea.
I don't know how I developed it. It's something that I think I noticed in other people that maybe there was I'll tell you the very first time it ever kind of crossed my mind. My mom's a country singer. Well, she's a singer-songwriter. She went to Nashville and she's a beautiful songwriter. One of my biggest bucket lists is to sell her music. So if anyone out there knows a good, connection for selling her music, she has the best songs. Like Taylor Swift would be envious. She has the best songs.
Really?
Yeah. And
Does she have an album? Does she have recordings?
No. This was back in the 90s. So she has it on I think CDs and, we put in our car, but there's nothing that we've put out there or anything like that. She doesn't want to be some famous pop star at this point, or a country singer. She's a writer and she wrote beautiful music. Wow. And she worked with really cool producers in Nashville. And anyway, but she wrote a song and it's such a killer song. And then a few years later, almost that exact song came on the radio. And I called my mom and I'm like, I need you to stop whatever you're doing and go look up this song. And she's like, what? And I mean, it's almost this, it's a very similar song. And I think that was the first time that it came to me as like, she quit with it. She didn't pursue it, but it still wanted to be, Mm-hmm. And I think that happens with books, with movies, with, ideas for businesses, with product, anything. I think there's just these ideas that need to be born and they're looking for the right vessel to create it. Mm-hmm. And if an idea does come to you, I think, and you're excited about it, explore it. Try to see what it feels like for your soul, And if you don't, it goes somewhere else. See,
you're talking about stuff that I push against stuff like that. Like, wait a second, can that really be a thing? Can I have an idea and then I see it somewhere else and then I'm like, oh, well, that guy had the same idea. Or did I just not act on that idea? But then as you're talking about that, I'm just thinking like, wait a second. I had this idea. Yeah. And then 2 years later, someone's developing it because I didn't do anything. And I had this. I've had so many great ideas that everybody else gets to participate in because I didn't act on it. I didn't act on it.
And that doesn't mean that another idea won't come your way. Maybe it will, right? I think there's these like idea fairies that are just flying around out there and landing on their right vessel, and I think maybe another idea could come that'd be great for you.
I'm sure. I have several. We're going to talk about.
I actually have a list in my phone of ideas of products that I want to develop. Not all of them are sunscreen related. I have a whole list of things that just come to my mind, and I keep a list in my phone.
Okay, well that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love the thoughts on the ideas that come to you, and then it's like here's your gift. Now you can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, choose what you want.
Go act on it. Okay, so are you still a PA at this point as you're developing?
I have my license. My license is still active. I still keep all of those things active, and I don't work in an office, and I don't work as a PA on a regular basis. But I keep all my CME up, all my medical licenses, all my testing. All of that is still very active. And I was teaching full-time at Utah Valley University's PA program. They have a PA program now, and I helped get that up from the ground running, and it was so cool. I was there for 3 years. And I'll tell you, similar to this thing, and people think this is woohoo, but I've only had a couple times in my whole life where this has happened. This is the second time it happened to me. But I had kind of been thinking in my head, oh man, I'm not doing everything as well as I could be, right? I'm a mom of 4 young kids. I'm working full time and I'm trying to run this sunscreen company. So I started it in June, and this probably came to me in September, probably. September, October, maybe August or September, probably September.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew in my head something had to give. But and it had been a thought that I had, and then I was like pulling into work one day, and it was like someone was in my car next to me in my ear, and it said, "It's time to quit your job." And it was so real and so solid and so sure. I just knew. It was just a knowing that I just knew, like, yeah, it's time. I just felt it in my soul. And it was a great job. I think, it's public record because I was a public employee. I think it was $160,000 a year, great benefits, like 15% contribution for retirement. Like, it's a great job.
Yeah.
And I just knew it was time to quit my job. Like, I couldn't do everything well. I was spreading myself too thin, and I couldn't do it all well. And it was either I go all in on this dream of this company that I have, I go all in, or I'd always regret it. And I knew that. It was just a knowing that I had. So I quit I told my boss, and she said, "Can you please stay on until January?" And I said, "Yeah." So I stayed on until January, and then I
January of this year?
Yeah, of this year. And I officially
So January 2025.
stepped away from my job, yeah.
Okay.
Great job, and I loved it. There was nothing wrong with my job. It was a beautiful job, a beautiful work environment. I loved it. Yeah.
As a type A, I
think I'm type B.
Are
if you saw my car, you'd be like, "You're definitely a type B mother."
Really? I'm going to go check it out.
Turns out I'm a type B.
Okay. But was that, do you find yourself spreading yourself too thin because you have all of these ideas and goals and you think you can accomplish everything?
I think that's a tendency that I have to fight within myself.
Yeah, I was wondering because that just seems like that would be such a hard thing to step away from.
It was so hard to step away from it. And I still get to go teach. I mean, I was there yesterday teaching, and I get to go back and teach in a couple weeks. I'm an adjunct now, and it's beautiful because I love teaching. But yeah, that's a tendency I think that a lot of people have, is that life is so short and you want to do all the things, right? You want to experience all the things. What would you do with this one wild and precious life? It's like my favorite quote. What would you do with it?
Yeah, I have that. That's funny that you mentioned
Mary Oliver. I love her.
I have that written on my board.
You do? I had it written in my very first house. Big, huge, blown up quote of that in my house. Yeah, it's called The Summer Day, I think. It's from a poem called The Summer Day. Mary Oliver. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's beautiful. Yeah,
it is.
So I don't know. I think there's a tendency for that. But when I go in on something, I kind of go in and I go in hard on whatever I'm doing. And I felt like I wanted to do this well. And I was finding that it was getting to the point where I was a little thin. I was running thin. And I don't like that feeling because I like to do things really, really well.
Yeah.
And it fights against my personality and my soul if I'm not. So yes, I want to do all the things, but also there's something that kicks up against me if I know that I could do something better than I'm doing it. And so I think that was the only solution I could come up with.
So
either give it up to someone else or quit my job.
Which I think is another great lesson, is there's a point when you're doing lots of things and maybe your productivity is suffering. Because you're just doing too many things. So how do you figure out how to maximize your productivity and still get all the stuff done that you want to accomplish? I mean, I think that's something that we all have to
fight that,
deal with.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that you've done as we start talking about more of your business, as you've transitioned now to full time with Daily Shade, is you've surrounded yourself, whenever possible, it sounds like you've surrounded yourself with really talented people.
Oh, it's the secret to everything. Surround yourself with people who are way smarter than you. That's the key to everything. Yeah.
And
that's why I married my husband. You surround yourself with people who are way smarter than you all the time.
Well, I want to talk about your husband as well. I know he's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious about this. Let's talk about the people that you've aligned with, and maybe you can tell me some experiences you've had about being around really good people and how that's been meaningful for you. But I also want to talk about how your husband's experience has helped you in your transition from full-time PA to entrepreneur.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think, I don't know if this is how you were raised, but when I was raised, it wasn't a conversation to own your own business or being an entrepreneur. Like, those were the people that were scary. My grandpa owned his own plumbing business, and you'd think he would have been really encouraging of me to start my own company. But I think it was so hard that back in those days, it was like the doctors, the dentists, the lawyers, those are the ones who make all the money. It's a secure job. That's what you want to do. You don't want to have to fight every day for your income. And the ironic thing now is that I'm totally flipping the script. That's what I'm chasing, which is so interesting. But it was a really, really scary moment because I was raised on this very dependable very comfortable, you know what it is. It's dependable. I don't know a better word for it.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband's mindset, completely different than mine. My husband's like, oh, go for it. Just go all in and go for it. And I maybe think without his encouragement, I don't know that I would have gone all in. I don't know that I would have started the business. I don't know that I would have done it, quite honestly. I want to hope that I would, but I'm a very practical kind of girl. And the practical part of me, I'd spent all this time, energy, and effort in my education in school. I've had all my loans paid off now. I'm finally in my practice. I'm thriving in it. I know what I'm doing. I have this massive patient load. I was thriving in a practice, right? I don't know that I would have had the courage or the guts had I not have had the right person around me to say, go for it. And it breaks my heart to think that there's people that don't have that, that don't have that person in their corner saying, like, risk it. I'm here. Like, I've got your back. We'll do it. If this is what your soul is wanting, this is our one wild and crazy life, go for it. And he was that for me. Even sometimes your family who has the best intentions for you, they're like, oh, that sounds risky.
Safety is kind of nice.
What you're doing? Are you sure? This, and because they love you and they're worried about you. And I think that you have those people. But my husband's, I wish everyone could have a Nick. I wish everybody could have them in their corner, just hanging out with them all the time, because he is just, he's belief and passion and hope and encouragement in this one beautiful package. I wish everybody could have that in their life.
Did he grow up wearing sunscreen?
No, he doesn't still wear sunscreen. I have to force him on the ground, slather it on. I'm like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't shove his head down in there and make him drink it until he passes out, Every day I'm like, did you put on sunscreen? Oh, yeah. I'm like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
I can see you didn't as you're walking out the store.
You bet.
And the joke is he'll probably get skin cancer and it'll be like, yeah, well full circle moment. It's your own fault.
I told you. You always know if I'm wearing sunscreen because you can smell it. Like, I'm walking around.
Can't smell mine. Can't see mine. But, it's just one step that I think, especially men, oh my gosh, yeah, you guys, you wash your face with a Dove bar of soap and you guys look like rock stars. And then there's women with like their 16-step routines trying to match it. Isn't that funny?
Do you know the fisherman soap? Have you ever seen fisherman?
No.
You don't know fisherman?
Squatch is the one that I see all the time nowadays. I don't know.
Squatch is like new age.
Yeah, new age.
Squatch. Fisherman soap.
I don't know fisherman.
Fisherman soap is a big brick of soap. And it was literally built for people who spent their careers in the ocean fishing.
Oh.
And you know that dealing with fish, and then you develop this kind of funny aroma.
I'm sure.
And fisherman soap is like this soap.
So powerful, it removes it.
With grit built in, and it's like this
very
rough.
masculine.
Yes, very. And it's like you're just sandpapering your hands with this soap. And if you're a real man, then you just lather it up and you do your whole
rub your face. Yeah, this is my husband. He just doesn't, it's like he uses whatever bar of soap is in there to wash his face. He doesn't moisturize, doesn't wear sunscreen, and he ages like a freaking fine wine.
Yes.
So annoying.
I'm a huge fan of Nick.
Yeah, you would be. Everybody
That's my guy.
Yeah.
Nick's my guy.
Hard not to
it
be.
feels like maybe we should exchange numbers and with Nick.
You should go golf with Nick and not wear sunscreen. You guys could really bond
Let's
over
do that. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that for sure. Okay. Aside from Nick, tell me about some of the other people in your life, you don't have to talk about people specifically, but instances in your career as you've made this transition where aligning with really good people has been meaningful.
I think there's two parts of this. One, if you have some idea and you think I want this to be, but you don't know where to start, you find someone who does. That's all that you can do, right? You find, and I'm not talking about ChatGPT, which I think is freaking awesome. Where was that when I was in school? That would have solved so many woes. But I'm talking about a real human being that has either done it or has done something similar that you can talk to, that can walk you through how it's done. You find someone who has a blueprint, because if you don't know how to do it, there's someone out there who's probably done something similar. So that would be the first thing I would suggest to people. And I found a really amazing cosmetic chemist who had created formulas that I thought were similar to what I wanted to do, but he hadn't done what I wanted to do. Obviously, that's why it took us so long, but he was going down that path. He was in that realm. And when I told him about my idea, he said, I've always wanted to do something like this. This is interesting. And I thought, okay, perfect. That's the kind of person you align yourself with, is somebody who also has a passion similar to yours. So I found a really amazing cosmetic chemist that could tell me things that I didn't know. That constantly tells me things I don't know about chemistry and formulation and things like that. That's one example. But then the second part of this is coming from medicine into e-commerce. I have no idea what I'm doing. And when I say that I have no idea what I'm doing, I literally mean I had 0, maybe now I have 1% idea what I'm doing. And it's a learning curve that I'm trying to figure out every single day. So I decided to invest in a business coach for e-commerce that could help teach me what I was doing. I would never walk into a patient's room without having formal training about how to be a practice medicine.
Yeah, and you have this distinct background in education.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I need to transition this into my business. I need to learn every single piece of this business from the ground up so that when I am at the point where I hire an ads person. I hired an ads person that I've hired several, but one of them just did me so wrong and overspent by $9,000. And as a new business, you're like, oh man, that kills your soul. You're like, that's going to take a minute to recover from. And you know what? I don't even blame that person. I blame myself because I wasn't the one running that and I should have been. It was my own fault. And that was the moment I learned, I need to know every single part of this business from the ground up so that when I can eventually turn over a role, I can run the meeting. I can have the conversation. I know exactly what's going on with this moment. So I'm in the process of that right now. I'm, maximizing my website speed and all of it's like all these terminologies that I didn't know a few months ago that I'm learning at such a rapid rate. That's so cool for me. So I'm in this massive learning phase, but I think laying those foundations are so crucial as an entrepreneur because especially at D2C, you have to know all the groundwork instead of praying for a viral moment or, hoping that comes along. If it comes, great. If it doesn't come, great. You've got to be able to sustain your business either way. And if Instagram shut down, could I still sustain it on a different platform? I don't know. This is a great question, right? So there's all these conversations that I'm now having with myself and starting down this new learning pathway. So I'm learning how to do everything myself, but then also trusting on people who have gone a little bit before me to say, this came up for me. What did you do? This packaging issue came up. What did you do? And anyway, I think those are my best pieces of advice for that.
Yeah. We've had people talk about developing their own personal board of directors.
I have that very informally. Yeah. I have an informal board of directors.
It sounds that way. Yeah. That can affect different aspects of your life, but just people who have had experiences that you haven't or have gone through things that you haven't. And you probably do the same for others. I mean, you've gone through things that...
In medicine, I had people call me all the time saying, I want to go do this. Can you talk me through it? Yes. Your mother-in-law gave me your number, whatever. So yeah, I do that quite frequently, but business, no, I'm learning. And I think there's beauty in that. It's a very cool place to be in. Yeah, I'm learning how to do every single thing from the ground up and very exciting. Okay, so as you've started this business, building this product that you said took 4 years. 4 years, yeah, solid 4 years.
To develop. As you look back, wow,
yeah,
that's
very depressing.
A long time. Okay, actually, let's start here. Tell us about the product first and why it's so meaningful and incredible in the marketplace.
The product is so incredible because it hasn't been done well until right now. Natural mineral sunscreen without any boosters, without any filters hidden in the inactive ingredient list has sucked until Daily Shade. Greasy, white, thick, pasty. The more natural, the worse it got. We are 99.4% naturally derived. Do you know how hard that is to do? It's so hard. And we had to calculate it down to the 99.4. And again, trying to not use 1,700 ingredients that are commonly used here in the States for preservatives, for, any kind of system. It uses all of these banned ingredients in the EU. So we were completely having to rewrite how American sunscreen was being manufactured. And very discouraging when you go to a manufacturing house. They're like, no, you don't want to make a natural zinc sunscreen. You don't want to make a natural mineral sunscreen. This is not, I'm telling you right now, it's the hardest thing to manufacture. You don't want to do this. Look at these formulas. These are proven. These are done. You don't want to do this. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was told, this isn't a road you want to go down. It's too hard. This isn't something you want to jump into or do. And whatever personality in me is like, oh, I'm going to do it harder.
Okay. Here we go.
Here we go. Can do it harder now that you said that.
Yes.
Luckily, that was my personality because it was very, very forced upon me how much I didn't want to go and do this because it's a very huge challenge for the manufacturer. We had a line that we went in on and it just separated. The whole thing there's water on the top and the product on the bottom because we're a water-based formula. It just completely separated because of manufacturing shifts and changes in manufacturing. Little things like that the manufacturer has to take on, that you have to take on. It's risk. It's just something it's not proven. It's a difficult process. Mm-hmm. So ours is very rare in the fact that we've done all of that hard work. And the cool thing is that now that we have this process and formula in place, we have 2 new lines coming out in the spring, a sport line and a women's line, which is awesome. We have other products in the work that I won't talk about yet. But now that we have it all, now that we figured it out, we are a very beautiful, I don't know how I want to phrase that, but we're kind of the first people to do natural sunscreen well. Mm-hmm. And now people are coming to us to ask, certain processes and procedures. And I'm like, ooh, I can't share that with you, but best of luck. I wish you the best of luck because I can't share some of the things we do, but it's innovative and it's really special. And if you're in the SPF world, we won the Nexty finalist award for Natural Products Expo West. Mm-hmm. We were a sunscreen that got their award, Cosmoprof. We were the only sunscreen nominated for an award, and we were a finalist for Cosmoprof North America. Because if you're in the cosmetic world and you understand, like people who will flip over the bottle and look at the ingredients, are like, "How did you do this?" I'm like, yes. Thank you for appreciating that and understanding that. But it's smooth. It disappears on your skin. I'm wearing it today. I wear it every day. It goes under my makeup every single day. The kid line that we have out now has a little bit of a tint in it. It's a neutral tint, so it doesn't leave a color behind. There's 2 ways to pigment a product. You can either pigment for foundation, like to leave a pigment behind so it looks like you're wearing makeup, which is not what this is. This is a pigment to allow the zinc to blend into your skin without seeing that white cast all over. Because even some of the zinc sunscreens that are pretty natural and done pretty well, they still leave a little bit of a cast. Just if the kid turns or if the person turns, you're like, you can just see the sunscreen a little bit. I wanted to eliminate that altogether. So we put just enough tint that it has a 98% color match. It doesn't leave color behind, but allows the zinc to really disappear completely because zinc is white. It's always going to be white. We can't change that. And then we have a couple other tricks up our sleeve that we use for the sport line that's not tinted that has the same effect. But just learning how to work with a zinc mineral-based product in the appropriate way took a lot of trial and error, a lot of failure that we've had to go through. So I think we're rare in the fact that we did the hard work. We didn't compromise. We didn't put in the boosters. We didn't do the things that everybody said to do just to make it work out. And we didn't skip on the timeline. Like it literally took us 4 years. And when I say that, I'm not kidding. It literally did. Part of that was COVID. There were issues with ingredients and all those things. And I think without COVID, maybe it would have been 3 years. I think probably could have shaved off a year of our timeline. But it really did take us that long because we did it the right way. And it hasn't been done that way ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The zinc thing is kind of nostalgic too, because all the
that white thing on your nose.
All the cool surfers had the zinc nose.
Yeah.
And so I would do that sometimes too.
Yeah, I think that's very cool.
I wasn't a cool.
You couldn't have that cool thing with mine because mine disappears on the skin, so we're kind of going the opposite direction, but I'm into it.
And yours is
fun.
Fragrance free.
Oh yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, it's an endocrine disruptor. We don't want that in our system.
I don't even know what that means.
It means that it's competing with receptors that are connecting to hormones in your body. So like if you have a little girl who is about to go through puberty and she has any kind of hormone that's trying to link to a receptor in her body, these endocrine disruptors will come along and kick it out. And they attach themselves to that receptor and the hormone doesn't get to attach. So it's competing with hormones in someone's body. Very pivotal when we're talking about puberty and young kids. Very pivotal when we're talking about anyone in perimenopause or a menopausal state. So those are the 2 categories of people that I really try to encourage to avoid any kind, and even men. I mean, the amount of testosterone, again, fact check me, but the testosterone level now of a man is like, in his teens, is like what it used to be in their like when someone's 70 years old, that's now, I guess I'm not explaining this well.
No,
the testosterone now
level
of a teenager is someone that used to be in their 70s many, many years ago.
Yes.
Right? It's just diminishing greatly because we have all these things inside of our body that are competing with that receptor site. So it can't produce and it can't do the function in our body the way that it needs to because it's competing. It's important for you too. I'm not trying to kick you out as a man because it's very important for you. But I would say perimenopausal women and young kids, very, very crucial that we're eliminating any of these endocrine disrupting ingredients from our routines.
But I really like the smell.
There are good candles out there. There are some good candles. Yo, you mean of the sunscreen lotion? Yeah, you're gonna have to get over that. There's nothing else you can do.
I mean, maybe you could put that on your idea list. Like, let's create a fragrance for Frank that's not going to be an
maybe just like a band that goes underneath your nose that you just like smell all the time.
We had a party in here the other day for one of our guys, and he has a kind of a prominent mustache, and so then we all got mustaches stuck on. So I don't know, maybe that's
sunscreen
the thing.
Smell mustache.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Whenever I would have a patient that would have a strong odor, I would actually put mentholatum underneath my nose and put a mask on because that's one of the tricks we do in healthcare and medicine. But the mustache would be a really effective tool for the men. This maybe has some wings. This might have some wings.
Let's talk.
Write it down on my phone. This has some wings for sure. Just the mustache.
The mentholatum. I mean, I know how that is like. That's gonna
wakes you up and takes away any odor in that room.
Any other evidence.
And my MA got so good, like, it's a mentholatum moment. I'm like, okay, great. And she just handed it to me and I'm like, put it on and go in. You know, you just know. You have to really love medicine. It's not glamorous for sure.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's a foundational business tool right there.
Yeah.
The mentholatum in a mask. Yeah. Okay. As you're, well, I think you've described some of the challenges of building the product, but now tell me about running a business. I mean, you don't have any experience running a business. So, okay. And so did you hit the ground just running and it's been like, you're on the ramp ever since? Or tell me, are there some ups and downs?
Totally what it's been like. It's just upward and onward.
I want to know about all of your difficult experiences and how you overcame those obstacles.
It's way harder than I thought it would be. When I launched, the launch went way better than I thought it would. Because I'd been building up the product for so long. There was a ton of excitement around it because I didn't have a ton of followers, but I had maybe, I don't know, a few thousand followers, and they were so supportive and so sweet, and they continue to be, which is awesome. Now, trying to get in front of new customers, this is the hardest part, I think, of e-commerce business for me, is organic traffic and getting in front of the right new customer frequently enough that it drives and changes things for you and makes your growth go up on a shoestring budget. Right? If I had a budget to just go wild on ad spend, maybe things would look different, but I don't. So I'm having to be very creative about the way that I go about getting new customers. Because once I get a customer, they love the product. Most people love the product. They appreciate it and they're customers. And I don't have to do a lot of investment there. But trying to get new customers and get in front of the right person and have them know, hey, I exist, that's my biggest challenge. Like, you can have the best product on the market. It doesn't matter. What matters is the best marketed product. That's all there is to it. Like, if people don't know you exist, it just doesn't matter. That has been my biggest challenge. And the biggest thing I'm trying to overcome is, how do I get more people and the right people to know that I exist on a shoestring budget?
Yeah.
Really, really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah. So what are some of the ways? How have you managed that? I
don't know that I've totally figured that out yet. I think that's a space that I'm still trying to discover, but I'm trying to do some interesting workarounds. Like, I think there's a lot of things I could go into with this and a lot of ideas and things that I'm trying to do. But I think SEO is really important. And this is one of the things I'm learning, is to organically make your website so valuable in the web space that people can find you without getting an ad thrown on them on Meta, right? So really maximizing your SEO is really important. I think it's also important to be multi-channel. So I found really interesting platforms like Pinterest is a really interesting one that people don't talk about. People don't talk about going on Pinterest or really using Pinterest as a big ad space. It's just like a place you go for recipes you're never going to make, that you put into a folder.
Yeah, right.
For me.
No kidding.
Or home decor that I'm like, dream home stuff. But what I found is my product is very visual and it's very cute. And Pinterest has been a nice little perk for me. YouTube Shorts, that's another category that's interesting. It's way cheaper than Meta, way bigger bang for your buck. You get a lot more organic traffic through YouTube Shorts than you ever did on Meta. I wish I could launch a D2C company in 2018, 2019. How fun would that have been? Like, I don't even know what that would feel like to just put an ad out and just have it, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore. So we're having to get really creative with that. I think also going outside the box and doing partnerships with other companies that are well aligned with you has been very important and helpful for me. I have one company that I reached out to yesterday with this idea for a launch, and they were so excited. And anyway, so cross promotion of your company with like-minded individuals has been awesome for me. And it's gotten to the point too where people are reaching out to me, like protein pints. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're an ice cream protein in a pint, and they sell at Target and Kroger and stuff. They reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want to do a giveaway together?" I'm like, You want me to do them with you? Yeah, I would love. Sounds great.
Yeah,
I would love that. So all their followers, got to be introduced to who I am. So giveaways have been really helpful, in doing some kind of partnership or collaboration with people with like-minded following is really been helpful. Podcasts like this is a great way that outreaches to other people. I've been on some really interesting podcasts, and I was actually at I got invited to go to the Skin Cancer Foundation Gala in New York City. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal. It was hosted by Christy Brinkley. Brendan Fraser was at the table next to me. I walked the red carpet with Diane Lane. It's a big event. It's a bougie, big event. And I'm in this ballroom. No one knows who I am. I'm with all these major, huge, big, players in the sunscreen world. I am a nobody. And I'm standing there, and some lady just starts screaming like, "Oh my gosh, you're Bree from Daily Shade." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." She's like, "Oh, I'm so-and-so. I heard you on a podcast," and, went off about that. And some very important person happened to be standing right here. And they said, "Hey, I'm so-and-so. I think we need to chat." And I'm like, "Sounds great." Right? So just those interesting moments of, you don't think that they're making a difference, but slowly and little bit by little bit, the right people, the right customer hopefully finds you through those channels. And not everyone's going to align with sunscreen. Like, you probably wouldn't be a great customer for me, and that's okay. You don't align with it. But there are people out there who love natural products, who are looking for something like this. I just have to find them. And that's been my biggest challenge.
Well, I think the market is... I think there's
it's so saturated, and it's so loud, and it's so... Ugh.
It is, but I agree with you. And there's lots of competition. There's no question. And for a guy like me, I need that scent. I need the nostalgia.
Yeah, so you like that. You like that moment. So you're not my ideal customer.
Well,
but what's tricky
outside of the fact that all of a sudden, if I'm going through this, there's millions of others who are going through this, like the things we talked about, seed oils and scents and what you're putting into your body, and all of it matters, and it's all changing.
It is.
Because what we've been told for the last 50 years is not exactly
it's not great. I mean, we are the most unhealthy that we've ever been as a society.
And I think that message is becoming much more prominent.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm coming in at a good time. That's
absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what I think. Your messaging will really resonate.
And I'll tell you, the MAHA movement, the Make America Healthy Again movement, I've had a couple influencers in that space who have clung on to my product, and that made a massive difference for me. Yeah. Because that category of buyer, they are very concerned about what they're putting on their skin, right? Like, that's the number one thing that is important to them. Not for them, it's not the scent, it's what is the ingredients in this product.
Yeah.
So getting in front of whatever crowd of people, like that's my crowd, but whatever crowd is important to you, and not wasting time in the other crowds. I think I wasted a lot of time just trying to get in front of everybody. And the truth is, that's not efficient. It's not the best use of your money. It's not the best use of your time. You have to get in front of the right room and the right people and the right buyer and the right consumer.
Yeah. So what is by the way, any other, like, as we're talking about some of the challenges, any other things running a business that you just have discovered, like
money? Where does the money go? Yeah. Where does the money go? You're like, I know it's...
you're alone in that. No one ever says that.
It's the craziest thing. I'm like, I know it's coming in, and yet it's going out twice as fast. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, the money. And I am self-funded. I have decided to not take on venture capitalists or any kind of funding at this point. I'm self-funded. And that presents a whole bucket of its own challenges. And it has its own problems. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do this.
And benefits as well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do this scenario. Big brand.
I love a good scenario.
You do?
What you got?
Okay. Nick and I are golfing. Oh. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Already this is good.
Yeah. Okay. No, big brand. A big, well-known brand. Mm-hmm. All of the resources.
How fun would that be?
Yeah,
Can you imagine
could help
how
explode
fun would that be?
Your product, and they say, look, Daily Shade fits really well in our product mix, and we want to buy you, and we want to buy you for a significant amount, a lot of money. The only caveat is Frank really likes the fragrance, and he's our customer, and so we love everything about Daily Shade, but we're going to have to add this one thing.
Yeah, and this happens every day, right? This is a conversation.
You haven't done the deal yet.
It doesn't happen to me every day.
Oh, okay.
But this happens to companies every day, right? It doesn't happen to me every day.
Yeah.
But this happens to, I can think of a sunscreen off the top of my head that this very thing happened to. It was the sunscreen that I based the formulation that I was doing off of that to some degree. And they sold, and now there's fragrance, there's butyl-octyl salicylate, there's all these compromises now that are in this product. And I thought about that from a founder perspective, like how difficult would that be to know that this is your baby, this is something that you have created. Like this is the only thing that I have created that I have had 100% determination of how it turned out. Even my own kids, I didn't get to determine how they would come out. I'd make them better sleepers and yell less and complain less if I had my way. But they came out the way that God wanted them to come out. I had a little bit of control over what I ate, and I didn't smoke, and I was eating enough protein and taking the right vitamins. But I didn't get to determine exactly what their person became. I got to determine every single thing about my product, from the packaging to the logo to the ingredients inside of it, to where they're sourced, to how I'm buying it, to how much I'm buying. I get to determine every single aspect of this product. Everything. It's on me. Can you imagine taking all those years of work and sitting back and watching someone just ruin it? Like, that would kill my soul. I just don't know that I'm that kind of human being that could sit back and be okay with it.
But you could sit back on a yacht on maybe your own private island. Does that ease the pain a little bit?
Does that ease? I'm sure it would ease the pain if you were sitting on a yacht in Italy. It'd probably be a little less annoying. But I don't know my personality style. I've had this conversation with the founder of this company to say, like, what was that like for you to look at this thing that you created and see it completely shift and change because it saved them 10 cents a bottle, right? Or whatever. I don't know if that's whatever it is. And it's a challenge. And I think everyone has to answer that question for themselves. I know what I would do. I'll keep it to myself. I know exactly my answer for that. But I think everyone has their own goals and mission and hopes and dreams for them. But yeah, that would be something that would be really, really, really hard for me to sit back and be okay with.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, I think every founder's dream is to someday get to a place where they can get with a company that just takes them global, that has all the resources to do everything that they dream and wish to in their heart. But the only way I think that would align with my soul is if I knew that the foundational things could be maintained. And that would have to be a very strict contract somewhere along the way. And the truth is, once you let go and it's not yours and you lose control, it's gone. You can't. It's not up to you. You can try to put things into place and you can do your best. But the truth is, you lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really, really difficult conversation.
That is. So what are your goals? What are your hopes and dreams for the
There's 74 million kids in the United States. Okay, that's 74 million opportunities for me to make a difference and decrease skin cancer in the rising generation. My mission is to make skin cancer not the most common cancer in America in the rising generation. And it's possible because it's the most preventable and we know what causes it. So if I can affect enough parents, if I can get to enough parents' ears to tell them, look, kids should be brushing their teeth and putting on sunscreen every day. If you don't feel good about the sunscreen you're putting on your kid every day, come look at mine. And if it's not mine and it's somebody else's, great. They need to be wearing sunscreen every single day. In Australia, kids wear a 3-inch wide brim hat before they go out to the recess to play. They don't even let their children in public school systems exit the building to go out in the play yard unless they brought their 3-inch wide brim hat. They can't enforce sunscreen because it's a drug, just like it is here, but they can make them wear a hat. And if they didn't bring their hat, that kid stays inside because Australia knows the danger of youth sun exposure in Australia.
What is the incidence of skin cancer?
Higher than here.
Is it?
It is. It's higher than here. It's horrible because they're closer to the equator. They're closer to the sun. Yeah. It's horrible. I mean, it's the most common cancer in America, but not globally. But in Australia, the rates are even worse. So
how many kids are there worldwide?
I don't know. I haven't even let myself dream that big. Because
Why not?
sunscreen is a drug, right? So in order for me to go into these other markets, I have to own mine first. I have to own the United States first, and then I'm going to let myself dream a little bit bigger. I'm trying to own my country, own my market, own Utah first, then own the country, then own the world. But globally, I don't know how many kids are in the world. That's a good question. But the United States are 74 million.
Okay. Is there...
In order for me to make a difference, I have to affect 3.4 million kids to change the most common cancer in America. That's 5%. I have to affect 5% of the national population. That's my goal. That's my dream.
How did you do
Not to sit on a yacht. I mean, that'd be fun for a weekend, but how boring would that get?
I don't know. You lived in Alabama for 2 years. You just spent a month in Florida.
I was so bored, I made a company. That's how bored I got. And
you were only bored because you were, as you said, stuck there, but not really stuck because you liked Alabama.
So much bread. I'm like, we have got to find something else to do.
Well, I can't even eat bread. You can't eat bread.
Well, this particular bread you could make because it was, I was milling my own grain and it was a sourdough and it was like a whole thing.
Oh, sourdough.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. But I'm just saying, it didn't stimulate my brain the way that my brain needs to be involved. My brain doesn't function that way. I don't enjoy my life in that degree. Like me sitting on a yacht would be so fun for a week. Like what a blast. I would love that. It's on my goal board. How fun to think that that's my life and that's all I'm going to do. I can't even imagine, it would be the death to my soul.
Don't you find that with some of those things though, is you think about, you're in the depths of whatever.
Wouldn't it be great?
Trying to get something manufactured, or the bills are stacking up, or you're trying to invoice people and all this stuff. And you're like, I want to live the rest of my life on a yacht somewhere in Italy or wherever. And then you do that for a week and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored.
Look, I love to vacation and travel. I love it. My husband and I are huge travelers, huge vacationers. And the way around that is we plan our trips every year. We know where we're going. We know where we're exploring. So we get that out of our system because I don't know if everyone has that dream, but I sure do. Yeah. I love a good trip more than anything.
Do you ever feel like you need to go on a vacation when you get back from a vacation because it's
if I took my kids? If my kids come, I'm like, this is not a vacation. That's
not vacationing.
This is parenting in a new environment. This is not a
vacationing
trip.
If you're not taking your kids. That's
yeah. If I take my kids, it's not a vacation. If I take my kids, it becomes a trip, right? It becomes a family experience. So my husband and I just went to Mexico. Just the two of us, no kids, with a couple of our best friends. That was a vacation. The most I had to do was hand my glasses over to the person who was cleaning them in the cabana. That's a vacation.
So you felt
when I got home, I was so energized, so restored. And so my husband and I, we do an alone trip every year where we have at least 1 to 2 of those a year. So one of them is usually with, he is involved in whatever his company. So we're going on his company trip, right? And that's with a bunch of other people. And that's not a total vacation because you're trying to talk with people and make sure that you're connecting and that they feel valued. And so it's not a total vacation, but there's no kids. So it's a chance for us to kind of get away. And then there's one that we go on where it's really a vacation, where we're not having to entertain, where it's just us, where we get to enjoy. And then we go on one big trip with our kids every year and then little mini ones sprinkled in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
74 million kids in the U.S. How many kids are wearing sunscreen today? On a
Such
daily
a hard
basis.
thing. I've tried to look up this number so many times, and I get different values depending.
No.
Chat will spit out an answer, but every time I ask it, it changes. So I'm like, this is when you know it's not reliable data. Shifts based on sources that it's looking at. I would say the majority of people are not putting sunscreen on their kids every day. I mean, I would say upwards of probably in the 90 percentile that people are not putting sunscreen on their kids every day.
Are there any cultures that don't need to put sunscreen on every day? Is there such a significant
the more
degree of
pigment, the more melanin you have in your skin, the less the sun can damage the cells below it.
Okay.
So people who have darker skin, they need less protection than people who have really fair skin. That doesn't mean that they can't get skin cancer and that they don't burn. That's a complete
fallacy.
It's a fallacy. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. They sure can. And everybody should be wearing it. But does it provide some level of protection? Yes. And I also am a believer that it's not just about sunscreen. It's a whole lifestyle, right? Where my kids, I have access to all the sunscreen in the world, and I still put my kids in long sleeve swimmers, right? I put them in long sleeve, so that what I'm doing is I set a timer on my phone and I'm reapplying at the appropriate time high quality product on their hands, their face, and their legs. And I'm not having to do their trunk and their arm and their back and all these things. That maximizes my play time. That maxes their time that we can play. I know it provides a little bit more protection. I try to avoid the peak hours of the sun with my kids. We have a pool in my house, which is the best thing we've ever done is put a pool in. But I try to avoid those peak hours of sun with them as much as I possibly can. And if you can't and you're out in the sun, then just be smart about it. But if you can arrange your day where you're not out in the sun at 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, awesome. Kids are tired. Put them down for a nap, have some lunch anyways, and then go back out after, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
What's the minimum SPF?
30. That's the recommended.
That's the
SPF
minimum?
That's the recommended.
What about like 15?
Anything is better than nothing. I'm a strong believer in that. But I'm also a strong believer in hats and shade. It's called daily shade. I love shade. I love trees. I love umbrellas. I love being smart about when you're going out in the sun. I love long sleeve swimmers. And sunscreen just part of the bigger picture of how that looks.
Don't you ever step out into the sun on at a summer afternoon and you just feel like,
oh my gosh, it's amazing. And you know what?
Energized.
It's even more amazing because I have the sunscreen on and I know that my skin cells aren't getting damaged and I'm still enjoying the sun. You know how cool that is? You still feel energized. You still feel great. You're still absorbing vitamin D. You're still getting all of the benefits from the sun. But your skin isn't getting damaged.
Are you blocking the benefits of the sun?
No,
your vitamin D?
You can't block enough rays to prevent vitamin D from getting absorbed into your sun. I actually own a patent to put topical vitamin D in a mineral-based sunscreen because there are people out there who are so worried about getting vitamin D. So we own the patent for that.
That's why
which is interesting.
That's why I don't worry. I need my vitamin D.
Vitamin D. Do you know how much vitamin D you need a week to get the maximum benefits of vitamin D in your body?
A lot.
No.
Yes. No. So much.
No. It's like 10 minutes a couple times a week, and you have all the vitamin D you need. Yes, this is true.
There's an account
much less than people think.
There's an account on X that I follow, and this guy's.
Is it the one where they don't wear sunglasses and they stare directly into the sun because
it's something. It's something.
It turns them into a superhero.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
But no, like one of his things is get out in, like, you can't be stuck inside under shade. You have to get out in the sun, and that's beneficial.
Totally.
So
I agree. I agree 100%, but I think that gets completely misread. I think people hear this little tiny clip of that, and they think that means go out at noon with no sunscreen for 3 hours.
Check.
That's not what that means, right? I agree with all of that, but I also agree that that's like saying, have a glass of wine at dinner, and before you know it, people are like, woo, 4 glasses in, not doing great. Now they're an alcoholic. I mean, you can take this little tiny bit of information and blow it up to whatever it looks like. Do I think there's benefits from the sun? 100%. Do I love being in the sun? I'm a summer girl. My favorite poem is the summer day. Like, I love summer. It's my season. If I could embody something, it would be summer. I love everything about it. But I also think that there's a way to do it right. And that's what we're missing. That's the piece that we're not doing correctly in this country. We're not doing it well.
Am I making it up when I say that I get energized when I walk out into the sun?
No, there's actual endorphins that get released when you get a little bit of a...
I knew it.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's an absolute 100% thing. It's important.
You're a summer.
I'm a summer.
All of these things are so funny how they align. Like your childhood and, working with your dolls and toys and being the doctor and then becoming a doctor and studying skin cancer and your kids and like the whole thing. And you're a summer person. Like it's all so aligned.
And I'm in Utah, the number one state that
you're in
from
Utah?
melanoma. Yeah.
Do you think that all happened by
And I'm married to a man. Look, I think the culture here, I'm LDS. I'm part of the LDS culture here, but the culture is, the dream is, at least when I was being raised in the 90s, you get married, have babies, stay home, and cook. This was like the dream. But you get an education, but you need to be home and cooking and doing laundry and playing with your kids on the floor, really happily building puzzles for hours. It's unfortunate, like, it's just not who I am. It's not who my heart and soul is. And I think that that's designed for a reason. And I think you are who you are because of a godly, divine design. And I'm married to a man who was raised in the same culture, who very easily could have had the same attitude of like, look, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go make money. You stay home and take care of the household. I happened to be married to a man who feels the complete opposite of that. who was like, no, if you can't do it, we hire somebody. You can't do the laundry, hire somebody. You can't watch the kids all day. Let's get help. Let's get someone that can help us watch the kids when they're taking a nap so you can go do work. Well, like, we fix it. That's great. Like, you go do it. Go do your dream. And I think none of that is by chance. None of that is by just happenstance. None of those moments are for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're like your goals and dreams are very specific to you. I'm sure others share the same goals and dreams, and others listen to that story and might say, "Oh, those aren't really my
those aren't
goals."
My dreams."
Yeah, those are my goals and dreams. And so finding your own path, I think that's something that you're talking about. And as we reflect
those hopes and aspirations and dreams are in each person individually for a reason.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I just think it's interesting the way you talked about how your mom is a hero and the emphasis that she put on education and how meaningful that was for you, and the support you got from people like your grandparents who helped. I don't know, it probably was just rewarding to help continue maneuvering down that path.
And ironically, like my mom, her dream was to stay home. Her dream was to stay home and be a mother, and she couldn't do that. And I'm in this exact opposite position where I could do that. And I'm not. Life is just an interesting. I mean, isn't it? Freud could have a heyday probably with my childhood and my life and dissecting it. But I also think that you are really born. And I'm a God-fearing woman. I believe in God. I believe in heaven. And I think you're born with a divine nature and with things inside of you that aren't determined by your environment, but just because that's who you are. That is your soul. And I think we lose that as we grow up because of the environment, and trying to latch on to those original things and not let the environment change you too much is really the trick, right? Is listening to whatever that is inside. It's really hard.
You know, it's one of the things that I feel like we've talked about and that you do is you are in tune with influences that come into your life and responding to those. I think a lot of us, I think that's an important thing to consider. I think a lot of us go through life and maybe we have that. You know, you talked about how your husband is very supportive. And go very for supportive. It kind of attitude.
But what if he wasn't?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like some people, lots of people, including myself, have gone through those experiences where you're like, I have this great thing I want to do, and there's some other voice around.
And they can be loud.
You can't do that. There's no way.
So loud and so hard to hear and so drowning out. And yeah. So I think that internal knowing and holding on to that for dear life is so, so, so important. And it's so easy to get lost. It's so easy to not hear that.
So do you, because of your experience, do you have other ways of approaching that kind of negativity that may find itself surrounding you?
I'll tell you what I do, and it's like very frou-frou. Very frou-frou. What I do is, and my husband and I have done this from the time we were married. So we've been married for almost 16 years. And he's a very goal-oriented, driven person. And from the time we were very first married, we would make these goal boards, right? And we would put like our certain vision of what we wanted the life to look like, and then what we wanted the next 5 years to look like, and then the next year to look like. So we'd have those very detailed written out, you know. And that eventually turned into me making this. I make a video. I watch it every morning, and I have it on my phone. I made it in CapCut or whatever one you want to use. And I took images and things that I am ultimately wanting everything to look like at the end. Like, this is what I want it to look like. And no one else sees this video, not even my husband, just me. I'm only privy to this video. And I watch this video every single morning. It's a minute and a half. I put my favorite music to it. And it has all of the things that I want to keep my focus on. So not anyone else's opinions of it. Not even my husband's, who I think is the greatest human being in the world. I don't even want him to influence it. I want it to just solely be me. And that is the way that I start my day every single morning. I watch that video for a minute and a half every single morning. And then I start my day out with a prayer, because there's no other way that I can get through the day the best way that I can if I don't do that. So I start my day out with a prayer. And inside that prayer are 3 things that I'm grateful for. And then and that's it. And then your day goes, right? But there's something about setting that, even in your subconscious, very first thing in your morning, that it's not anyone else's picture of how that looks but your own, right? And that's a really important thing.
Yeah.
So we do that every single morning, and then you hope for the best. That's what you do.
You set the foundation.
You set it every morning.
And then you hope for the best.
An hour and a half. You can do that. Then you pray for a few minutes, and it's fine.
Well,
anyone can do that.
I would love to continue talking with you, but we have a lot of stuff to do today.
We do. We're going to be busy.
Yeah.
We're going to be around the warehouse. Yeah. We're going to be getting lunch. You said Ruth's Chris, I think, is where you said we're
I did say that. Okay, before we let you go, if I said you could only have one thing for lunch for the rest of your life, what would that be?
In Orem, there's a restaurant called Teppanyaki.
Is that the Japanese?
It's a Japanese hibachi steakhouse. They make the best noodles on the planet. If you've never ordered the teriyaki noodles at Teppanyaki in Orem, Utah,
I think,
and their salad, you're missing out. So that would be one of mine. The other one would be, there's a little restaurant on the Amalfi Coast in Italy that makes the best spaghetti I've ever had in my entire life. And that would be the other one if I could fly anywhere.
You know, the Amalfi Coast in Italy, specifically Positano, is maybe my favorite place in the world.
Same. I love it there so much. I love it there so much. We took our kids.
It was unbelievable.
It was the best trip. And actually that one, even with our kids, felt like a vacation. It was such a dream. We were we were in Italy for a total of about a month. Mm-hmm. And we rented this 12-passenger van. And my husband, you've been there, so you can appreciate that. He was driving a 12-passenger van along the Amalfi
narrow
Coast
streets.
And on the cliff, and you look down and you're like, we're going to die. Like, this is the moment that we die.
Yeah.
And it's, 2:00 in the morning in this 12-passenger van. It's some of my best moments of my life. Best memories of my life. Yeah.
It's an amazing place, spiritual place.
Yeah. Amen.
No doubt.
So the yacht in Italy was very tempting, as you can tell from my from my favorite place.
I've so enjoyed talking to you.
Same.
I hope you'll come back and see us again and tell us how you're doing, and maybe when you launch your new products, we'd love to hear about it and come and tell us
launches are fun
about all of the things. Yeah.
Let's do it.
And then I have lots of ideas. We'll have to talk about it
Let's do it.
Off camera.
Thank you.
There she is, Breelyn Vanleeuwen, Daily Shade. Where can people find you?
They can find me on my website, dailyshade.com. Mm-hmm. That is the ideal place to go for me as a business owner. But also you can shop on Amazon. It's also available there, which is convenient. And then we're in about 28 doors across the country, a lot here. So we're at a few pharmacies and doctor's offices and little markets here. So you can look on our website for locations in Salt Lake. There's the store. It's called Wonderland. It's like part of the store in Salt Lake. So you can find us there. Mountain View Pharmacies. Probably those are the best places to look in Salt Lake. But we're really trying to stay D2C until we can have enough money to really do retail right.
To really get it going.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, best of luck. It's a great product. You've done amazing things and amazing things ahead as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bree.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for listening to the Know Your Ship podcast presented by eHub. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.